Hello and welcome to this tutorial. Now today's tutorial is a bit of a learning step for me as well, because I'm going to try and draw transformer hands. I'm going to explore different methods of doing this. Now I'm not an expert, as I probably repeated in every tutorial, but hands is something I find I do struggle with on transformers. Now the thing with hands on transformers, I think they can really set off a piece. So if you're drawing a transformer and the hand looks good, it can really improve that piece. In the same way, if the hand looks bad, it can ruin a piece. So first of all, I've just downloaded a few pictures just so I can show you what I mean. So that's the wrong picture. Let's try this one. Okay, so this is a fairly simple one. This is Soundwave. Now this hand is it's complex, but it's not complex. There's not many details on here. It's quite simple, but it's very effective. So that's the first example. Second one is the quality of these hands. Now these hands are really detailed. Zoom out a little bit. You can see obviously there's like little plates on the grip pads of the hand. Quite good. Well, quite good, very good. One of my favourite Transformers artists, Alex Milne there. I believe this is Alex Milne again. But these hands again are quite detailed. But these are more rounded rather than cubes. I say that now, look down here and they actually are more cubes. Okay, Megatron, this drawing's by, I don't recognise that. Is that Milne again? I can't tell. But either way, this is obviously a marker pen drawing. These don't zoom in too well. But that hand's quite complex again. Nice big plate on the back. And then a jointed thumb and fingers. Now this, probably able to see this one a bit better. This is a very good hand. This is one of the more detailed ones where every little square has its part, every little part has its perspective and lips and everything like that. So this is probably what I'd like to have in my artillery when I'm drawing hands. I'd like to be able to draw hands like this eventually. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to go straight into the sketching. Now, I'm just going to show you how I generally draw hands. And now we'll try and work from there. So what I do is I generally draw a human hand. Or I sketch a human hand. I'm not too bad at drawing human hands. Sometimes I can draw them and they look terrible. Other times, I draw very good hands. So I'm just going to draw like a rough outline at the moment. So, and if you want to know how to draw human hands, there's going to be tutorials from people online that are probably much better than me. But anyway, we've got a rough hand there now. So, don't like that index finger. Okay, so I'm going to fade that out a little bit and I'm going to draw over the top. Now, what I like with the Transformers is when the hands are blocky. So each one is made up of a cube or a plate. So I'm going to just go over and try and make these, put up like a perspective on them. On each section, and there's obviously a round joint there. What I might do actually, I'll go back to this layer and I'm going to draw all the pivot joints, you know, of articulation. So that'd be around there. Looking at my hand while I'm doing it. There and there, and obviously these joints here. That's going to be a round articulation joint there. Okay, so we'll go back to this where we're drawing the polygons on. see I zoomed in, that's actually not very good at all. But when I do the proper one, I'm going to be using shift and doing very straight lines. Okay, so then there'll be a pivot joint in here, and then another polygon here down to this pivot joint, and then a pivot joint here, and another polygon onto the final piece. Okay. Pivot onto here, which will be actually more like that. So more like that. And then similar perspective. Just going to draw these in before. And I like when the fingertips kind of come to a point on robots, so not a complete point, but a thinner flat than at the back. And I'm just going to go and do that for all of them then. I'm going to do this quick time, so I'm not waiting around for it. Big rotational joints on here. And I tend to just put a plate on to cover any moving parts past those points, so that'd be a plate there. Just draw these joints on. Make that so it's articulated in almost like a rubber mould or a metal mould. So this is obviously the palm, not the back of the hand. The back of the hand I'll have a big plate. Okay, so zoom out and have a look what we're looking at. So that's not too bad. I don't like this palm here. I'll zoom in on that. Get rid of that. Let's try and make this better. In fact, the fact that I'm doing it round is probably not helping it being a machine. Obviously you do get round panels, but let's maybe put some more straight edges on this. Okay, so that's a rough sketch. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm now going to go over that using black lines, and I'm going to do that using the pen tool, full opacity and black. Lock these letters off so I don't accidentally draw on them, and I'm going to do the lines definite using, and this time I'm going to be using a mouse, not a stylus, because I don't need to freehand draw these. I've already done the shape. I don't need that imagination. What I'm now going to be doing is going for straight, sharp lines. So opacity is on full, hardness. I'm going to turn off the pressure sensitivity because I don't ever make a difference with a mouse anyway. And I'm suddenly going to fill these in. I'm going to go smaller than that because initially I'm going to go thin and then I'll go over it with thicker afterwards. Obviously, if I was drawing this in pen, I'm going to go thinner than that even. If I was drawing this in pen, I'd probably be using a ruler. Why has it done that? Let's try that. So you can see what I'm doing now. I'm just holding shift and going around and doing all the edges and a bit of the detail. Now this can be time consuming. It might be quicker on paper depending if you are using a ruler. If you're using a ruler, it's still going to take a long time. But if these hands are small, if they're not a focal point, you can probably get away with freehanding it and just being careful to make sure your lines are quite straight. And this is, as I already said, it's a learning curve for me as well. I'm not the best at drawing transformer hands, so if I can improve my own game, as it were, by doing these tutorials, it's a bonus. So the end goal for me would be able to draw hands like people like Alex Milne. You know, they're so good. I always look at the hands because I love the detail on them. Right, now I am going to go back to the slides because I want to do these joints, and I think these are going to be better freehand. However, I'm zooming in because the more you zoom in when using the stylus, the more control you have over the lines. But I'm going to do this quick so it doesn't, so you guys aren't waiting too long. Perspective of that is a little bit out, so it won't actually show it. See, I've extended the finger joints on these ones a bit too wide. Let me see if I can correct it, see if it all still look okay. As I say, it's a tutorial and this is a learning curve for me, so I will learn from this as I go along. Oh, I missed some lines here. It's far too big. Those lines are well off the perspective, but zoom out of this. I've got a video finished processing. So you can do these joints up here. Now I've noticed, I think I've done the thumb too large on these drawings, but it's fine for what I'm doing at the moment. I just want to see how I can improve my hand drawing game. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with this bit, so this is where, if I was going to draw this on an actual piece, I'd probably go and look at some reference material. I'd find some toys with the inside of the hand, or even hands that other people have drawn, and look how they tackled the problem. I'm just going to leave that for now like that. Okay, let's have a look what we got. Okay, so it looks like a child's painted on, sorry, a child's drawn it on paints at the moment. I mean, there's no thickness, there's no definition. So the next stage I'd go to is I'd now start putting the thicker lines and the shadow on there. So the pen again, I'm going to go thick. Not that thick, it's a bit over the top. Let's try this. But I'm back to the mouse again because I'm going to be doing straight lines. If you notice any mistakes here, you can obviously, this is a time to correct them a little bit. Just do this as quick as possible this time, but as I say, spend as much time as you need on this. You can just keep redoing it if it doesn't look right. And you probably noticed though, I picked a different layer, so on computer you can obviously make it so it's not going to affect the drawings underneath. On paper it's going to be a bit harder. It's going to be a bit, you know, you're going to have to correct those after you've scanned it in if that's the route you're going. But on computer, nice and easy, separate layer, loads of layers. It's a good way to protect yourself and your work that you've done so far. Yeah, so that thumb is definitely too large, especially the tip of it, so I might just correct that using this pen. Yeah, so I think that looks better. The overall thumb is too large, but that's going to take too much at the moment in this stage to correct. Right, so I've done the thick line, that's the nice outline, but now I'm going to go still thick, but not as thick as that one. I'm going to go and do, let's have a look, try 9. I'm going to go and outline the the bulkier parts. Now that's probably too thick because I don't want that standing out too much. So I'm just going to go along with this slightly thinner pen. 9, is it too thin? Thick? Let's try that one. I'm just going to thicken these lines up on the underside of these panels to really show that they're separate from each other. Okay. Right, so I don't think that looks too bad. I'm just going to drop back to this layer and erase that bit. I think we've improved on that. Okay, so now I'm going to go really thin and I'm going to do some details. So I'm going to duplicate these layers so we don't lose these. And now I'm going to get in real small, and this is where I'm going to go very small with the pen. So this would be like your 0.05 if you was drawing it on paper. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead with the stylus and do these. So I'm going to add a lip to the back of all these fingers. Again, if you want to use it nice and straight, you hold the shift. So that really should follow this turn, this bend here. On the back. And as I said in other drawings, you can really go in as much detail as you want. And this is getting quite detailed. You might have trouble getting obviously this detail on paper because you literally can't zoom in with you normally. But on computer, easily zoom in. Let's speed this up. I don't want to be boring you. I'm going ahead and doing the same thing on every hand, basically. Every finger, sorry. So it's a uniform machine. These are like cylinder drums, like not drums, but that's the shape. They're a cylinder, but they're like a joint I've made. Less talking, more drawing, eh? I've got to get this done for you so you can see what it looks like afterwards. I mean, I can't even see it at the moment, so I can't see what this is going to look like when zoomed out, but I'm hoping it's going to be a good effect. Yeah, I quite like that. It looks pretty good, I think. And then we'll just go ahead and finish this off on the thumb as well. I'm going to do some of these, make these look, because these look terrible, but we'll see what I can do with them. Make that the centre pivot of this. I'll probably give it a bolt in here maybe. There we go. Let's see if I can put these, improve these. Let's have a look at that looks. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I don't think that looks too bad. Let's put this bit in as well. Okay, so there's my little Autobots Transformers hand tutorial. Obviously you can still improve on that, you can have more detail, you can be neater, you can take your time over it a bit more than I did. I mean, I sped through that, and obviously this is not where I'd finished. There'd be a big plate off the back of the hand, so this is like the palm with the moving parts inside. I'd probably make this a little bit thicker, but then I'd put a plate on the back so it's like covered the knuckles from behind. But yeah, that's the tutorial. So if you like that, please click a like down below. If you want to see more of this stuff, I'm going to be adding this as regular as I can. So click the subscribe. And if you have any ideas or you want to show me your art, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Twitter, and obviously you can leave comments below. I look forward to hearing from any of you. Cheers.